Yeah, YouTube, what's good? Back with another video. Hey, early morning vibes, man. Just leaving the gym, finna head back to the crib, get myself ready for the day. But this is gonna be part 2 to my last video about developing your mindset. Like I said, I thought that topic was really good, and I just wanted to, at the first video, I just wanted to kind of cover the basis of it, but now I'm gonna kind of give you a little more insight and ways to go about doing that, right? This is gonna be more of a action type of video, right? So, for starters, developing your mindset, it's gonna come down to you, right? And I always say that, but in this version of it, I mean knowing yourself, right? And the art of war says, know your enemy, know yourself, right? But you gotta know yourself first. You gotta know your flaws. You gotta know where you're good at. You gotta know your strengths. You gotta know your weaknesses. You gotta know where your blind spots are. Spots that you might not even realize are a weakness to you, right? You might have known weaknesses, but you might have a blind spot where you have unknown weaknesses. So you got to understand yourself altogether. That way, once you have the guideline and the breakdown about everything, all your shortcomings and powers, you can go about constructing that in a way that limits your weaknesses. You can construct your mindset to play to your strengths and limit your weaknesses, and also not be affected when somebody exploits your weaknesses, right? Because if they can't, you know, if it doesn't bother you, then it doesn't matter, right? But also, you don't ever want to take attacks in your weaknesses, but that's another video for that. So once you understand yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, you go about shaping your mindset, okay? So for starters, the easiest thing I'm gonna tell you to start with is meditation. Meditation to shape your mindset, and sitting in silence, right? Sitting in silence and meditation. Meditation, just being focused on the here and the now, being in the present, breathing, focusing on your goals and where you want to be while you're meditating. Visualization of the things that you want, the things that you need to do, and the things that you want to receive and attract in life. So while you're meditating, you're breathing, you're thinking, you're becoming one with the moment, but you're also visualizing your goals, visualizing your plans, thinking about how you're going to attack them, keeping what's important first, calming the noise in your mind. That's gonna be the main thing and the easiest thing to start with, because you gotta calm the noise in your mind so that when chaos arises, you can be calm, you can be strategic, and you can be direct and decisive with your plan of action. Because if chaos arises and you're and you go with it, and you're emotional and you're erratic with how you're gonna conquer it, you're not gonna do too well. Right? You got to be able to stay calm under pressure. Okay. Like I said in the last video, reading. You got to read. You got to gain and gather information. So whether it be books, whether it be you're listening to podcasts or whatever, newspapers, the news, you gotta be studious. You gotta be curious about information that's out there. You gotta search and seek for this information, right? Nobody's gonna give it to you, but it's out there. All the information that you could possibly want is out there, but you gotta read up on it. You gotta look into it. You gotta want to find it. You gotta want to expand your knowledge on things, right? And then with doing that, as you gather this knowledge, you'll start incorporating it into your lifestyle. Just like I said, like I said in previous videos, it'd be irresponsible for me to tell you that you're going to read the 48 laws of power and you're going to use every single law. That's incorrect and that's irresponsible. But what I can tell you is, as you read these books and things like that, you will take the most important knowledge and information from it that you could possibly apply to your life at the moment that's applicable to you, and you will utilize it as such. And then going from there, if you don't need it, you put it to the storage of your subconscious mind and you move around. And then when it is needed, you call upon it, or you go back to that book and you look up on it. All right, that's how you gather and gain information. And then as you gain that information, they say one of the easiest ways to retain it is to teach it. Is to teach it, to give it back, to pass it down to somebody. Okay? Next on developing your mindset is setting boundaries for yourself. And that's going to come with the first part of it, knowing yourself. Knowing yourself, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses is going to make sure that you set healthy boundaries and that you know what you're not going to deal with, what you're not going to tolerate from anybody, from man and woman alike. You're not going to tolerate nobody wasting your time. You're not going to tolerate anything that's not settling in your spirit. You're not going to tolerate any nonsense. Okay? That's setting boundaries, but that comes with knowing yourself. And that's only going to come, it's only going to come from one of two reasons, right? Either you do it on your own or life forces you. Like I said before, it's either you're going to do it on your own or life is going to force you to have to set boundaries. Life has a funny way of humbling us. So when you're too comfortable and things go awry, that's when you're going to have to make changes. And some of them changes might be uncomfortable, but uncomfortable is good. Uncomfortable is where growth happens. Uncomfortable is where you're going to set those boundaries, right? Uncomfortable is a lot. Friend zone, for example. A lot of dudes is comfortable in the friend zone. Why? Because it's safe and you get to stay near the woman that you're fawning for or still chasing after. Uncomfortable is you telling her, fuck you, I'm out of here. You're not that important. I'm more important than you. That's uncomfortable because you're not used to having a backbone. You're not used to putting yourself first. It's uncomfortable in the moment. You feel like, and then internally you feel like you're losing the love of your life, the only woman you will ever love, or whatever it is that you would possibly be feeling. But in the long run, you gain that confidence and you gain a respect for yourself because you know, hey, yo, I told her to stop wasting my time and I feel good. Like, I stood up for myself. I'm a man. I got balls. And if I could do that to this scenario, I could do it in other scenarios moving forward. That strengthens your mind. It's a victory in your mind. You got to gather small victories. That's going to be another thing to shape your mindset. You got to gather small victories. Win the day. I said it before. You got to win the day. You don't got to be perfect, but try to win the day. Just like any other game, you're not gonna blow everybody out in the NFL. There is games where you're gonna blow somebody out, but some days it might be a hard fought. You might win 20-21. You might win 17-20. You might not win 40-0 or 20-70 or whatever. But did you win the day? Did you win the day? Did you get up when you were supposed to get up? Did you go to the gym when you were supposed to go to the gym? Did you read that book that you said you was going to read? Did you eat that meal that you know you're supposed to eat? Did you spend that time with your family or your children that you were supposed to spend? Did you save that money that you know you were supposed to save? Did you take that time to meditate like you know you're supposed to meditate? Did you put down, did you keep the streak alive with whatever it is that your streak's supposed to be? Did you keep the streak alive on your no fat? Did you keep the streak alive on your semen retention? Did you keep the streak alive on not smoking? Are you winning the day? Small victories will help catapult you, and it'll create an avalanche. As you keep compounding interest on all of these things, better outcomes will come. You gotta win the day. You gotta want to win the day. When you get up and you don't look at your phone and you get yourself together and you make your to-do list, and then you start checking off boxes in your to-do list, victories. Every check is a victory. Boom, health and hygiene done. Boom, at the gym. Boom, ate the healthy breakfast. Boom. All of these things, if you checking off tasks, those is victories. Those victories are strengthen and callous your mind. Knowing that you could get done, you can stay focused on certain tasks. Next, a physical discipline. There's a confidence that comes from knowing that you can handle yourself when things go left. And it's unexplainable, you know, to when you're out and about and certain things happen. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's never going to resort to you getting help from security or people around you. And a lot of people are comfortable, you know, in those settings. A lot of people are tough with their friends. A lot of people are tough when there's safety and security. That's why dudes that's locked in, you know, and not in population is tough, because they protected and comfortable behind the walls, behind the barrier. You know, puppies are poodles and all them little barky dogs is real tough when the pit bull's in the cage. But once it comes out the cage, what happens? Right? You got to know how to protect yourself, and you got to be capable of protecting yourself. Now, whatever physical discipline you decide to take up, that's on you. But you got to take it and know that you doing that, it serves a variety of purposes, right? So not only in protecting yourself and be able to handle yourself in situation, that'll trickle down to you being able to protect your girl that you with, or your children, or anything, you know, an old lady that's getting mugged in a corner, whatever. All of those things, that's noble, that's respectable, that's honorable. Okay? And then on another side of that is it strengthens your mindset. You know, knowing that you have this capacity to be dangerous, to be violent, to be ruthless, but keeping it under voluntary control, as Jordan Peterson says, keeping it under voluntary control is honorable. And it gives you that confidence and a mindset to know that you can handle any situation, especially situations that can get tricky, right? Because a lot of times it's good to, you know, the civilized thing is to want to communicate our differences in a way that can be de-escalated at the lowest form. But let's be honest, as men, a lot of times communication might not be the key to getting your point across. Okay? Sometimes it might come down to fisticuffs, or, you know, having to throw hands. And when that comes down to it, are you capable of doing that? Alright? So, and again, with that, it builds a confidence in your mind that you can handle yourself. It'll help shape your mindset too. Knowing that you can, and knowing that you have the capacity to, will allow you to be more confident and be more direct in your approaches and the things that you do in life. And lastly, have a purpose. I know that's common. I know that's, you know, the thing to say, but when you have a purpose, you have a direction, you have a calling, you have a reason, you have a why. It'll drive you and deter you from the things that you need and the things that you don't need in your life. Right? When you have a why, it'll it'll get you through. When you have a definite and determined why, it'll get you through anyhow. It'll get you through anyhow. When you know why you're doing something, you're not worried about the what, you're not worried about the if, you're not worried about the how. You just know that you're going to. You just know that you're going to do it. A higher purpose will deter you from the things that are not conducive and are not constructive and are not a catalyst to your success. A strong why will give you a sense of, I don't want to say happiness, but it'll give you a sense of meaning. It'll give you a pride in yourself, knowing that you're serving a higher calling, a higher purpose. Know that you're serving others in your actions. That's honorable. And with that too, it's shaping your mindset to know that self-sacrifice is one of the highest forms of love to those that you care about. Self-sacrifice is a part of building a legacy, of being immortal, of being remembered. You gotta sacrifice your days, sacrifice your time, sacrifice your money, sacrifice you to provide a lasting life, a lasting impression on those that come after you. Opening the doors for those that come after you. Right? A farmer's pride comes from knowing that the seeds he plants, he will never enjoy the shade, but those that after him will. That quote's from The Wealthy Gardener. Self-sacrifice, having a purpose, and giving up the pleasures of today for the pleasures, for giving up what you want now for what you want most. Giving up the pleasures for today to plant the seeds for the fruits of your labor tomorrow. Right? But I think this video's gone on long enough, and I hope this helps you. And if you have any more questions, feel free to write them in the comments. Nothing too long, all right? And then, I'm off social media, so you can't hit me up there. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all right now. Enjoy your day. Get to the fucking gym. Drink your fucking water, and stay up, all right? But until next time, yo, this is Wolfgang Peak. This is Wolfgang Lifestyle, and I'm out.